for not being in there. So I don't know what's going on. All right, so how's this work? You just pipe this into something else or what?
Actually, I'm pulling you in through desktop audio. So
Oh,
yeah, you're literally live and in color right now.
oh, cool.
Yep. So
Sometimes I'm a little stupid to the ways of technology.
that's okay. You're on the ball for this one.
Yeah, so I got some. What do you think about doing some key giveaways? I got a couple of keys we can give away.
That was one of my questions, and you just took it out of my freaking mouth. So
There you go. You can do it however you want. I don't care. You want to do 2 or 3 of them, or
how many are you offering first before I jump the gun here?
well, why don't I give you 4, and then you
Ooh.
can do 1 or 2 of them during this, and someone during the others, some other way or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I've only got you like 30, 40 minutes, so I might maybe wait till the end because I want to pick your brain as much as possible because I know your
Yeah.
time is short. So
I am going to paste you the 4 keys. You can do with them as you please.
all right. Love you, John. Thank you.
I'm so nice.
I know you're awesome. But I have some questions here. The kind of format I wanted to do is, of course, I actually asked the community questions first to kind of jot down on a word pad. Of course, as you answer the questions, I'm sure that's going to create more questions, and I'll probably be cherry picking from chat. The ones that are actually of substance.
Yeah, that's fine.
So.
Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can put that on. Try to do it without getting feedback on myself. How would that work? So are you on your YouTube channel? Is that where you're doing it?
I'm doing it on my Twitch channel, actually, and then I'll export this to YouTube. It's kind of confusing because I have 2 different names on like YouTube's Cobra493, but Twitch is JustinRadio7, and I know it's confusing. I'll change it.
G'day, guys. Sorry.
Hey, there he is.
Sorry about that. To step off.
There's this sultry voiced Chris.
Oh, man.
I was dealing with children being children.
True. Sounds like that true Viking, except he's an Aussie.
Yeah, I don't have a cool accent like he does.
Me neither.
If you hear
you sound Midwestern
background, it's just my kids. Sorry about that. They're being a bit naughty this morning, it would seem.
Yeah. John just called me out. I'm actually from Indiana.
Yeah, I'm from Ohio, so there you go.
Yeah, I was actually stationed with 325 Lima for my last stint in Columbus.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
they're right up. I mean, they're like 20 minutes from me.
Yeah. So I wasn't too far away, like less than a year ago. So crazy.
Wow.
Small world.
I was here.
I wish I'd have known. Probably would have never left.
Yeah, no kidding. That's weird.
Now I'm in Oklahoma.
Oh, geez. Sorry.
Yeah. Thanks.
No, actually, I heard it's actually pretty nice out there. My cousin was in the Air Force out there, and I think it was Oklahoma.
Yeah.
There's an Air Force base.
There's an Air Force base on, like, I think it's near Tisdale or something like that.
All right. I'm pretty sure that's where he was.
Yeah. Well,
he actually liked it.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I say he actually liked it. That's all.
I haven't been on their air base yet. Not sure if my ID probably won't get me on anymore, but oh well. But since I've only got you guys 30, 40 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and try to rip into it.
Sure.
And, of course, like I was saying before, Chris, I'm not sure if you were hearing or not since your mic was muted. Questions generate more questions and stuff like that. So first question I actually have is, what spurred you guys to start the project in the first place?
I'll take that one first, and then Chris can add why he was interested in joining up. But as most know, my background started at Red Storm Entertainment, working on Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon, the PC versions, the original versions. That was something I kind of happened into in a weird way. I was working in virtual reality back in 1996, the kind of virtual reality that makes you throw up all the time.
Yeah.
And I went out to a GDC out west, and Red Storm was there, and they were forming the company up and hiring, and started talking, and one thing led to another. And in 1997, I'm working at Red Storm. So I've always had an interest in this subject matter, and I really enjoyed working on those games, and really enjoyed what we developed. And then, you know, life takes you different ways, career takes you different ways, and whatever. And at some point, I figured out I'd made a lot of people a lot of money, and hadn't really got much for myself. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to try to make a game the way I want it made, with that old school kind of feel to it, because modern games don't have that anymore.
No.
And I said, you know what? I'm just going to get on down the road and do it. It's been a very long road, but yeah, that's why I did it. I wanted a game like the old school games, and I wanted to do it on my terms.
Kris?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of a good way to bring me in. The whole reason I got started in producing mods and games back in the day was always wanting something that I wanted to play. Just so happens that while I was working on something myself, I was doing code and so forth with was it the Unreal Development Kit at the time, and yeah, John and I both had exactly the same kind of drive that we wanted to play, wanted something we wanted that was old school, that was very tactical and so forth, that didn't really exist. And yeah, it's just so happens someone kind of mentioned that, hey, there's this weird coding guy that's doing this stuff that you're trying to do. Have a chat to him. So he did, and yeah, that was, wow, 2012.
Oh, geez.
So, yeah,
how actually did we meet? Did somebody introduce us? I don't remember.
I think you did the it was, I think just after the Kickstarter, because I was, you know, on the forums for just kind of watching for ages, and I think you put out the Kickstarter, and then someone mentioned that, hey, this guy's got similar vision of what you've got, and then you kind of reached out and like, hey, you interested at all? So, oh yeah, have a look, and then yeah, went from there.
Yeah.
What were you modding at the time?
Kind of... Sorry, what was that?
What were you modding at the time?
I was just well, back in the day, I modded everything from bloody Doom through to World of Warcraft. But back in when I hooked up with John, I was actually just producing little example projects for Unreal Development Kit, trying to attract some people who could do the stuff that I couldn't do, because unfortunately, coding isn't really something you can show off. Like, you'd put something on YouTube and go, look at the cool stuff I did and the code I've done here, and people would go, oh yeah, your models look crap. I'm like, models? What?
Yeah, it's funny. It's like, you know, the Reese's peanut butter cup, peanut butter and chocolate. He was a coder, needed an artist. I'm an artist. I needed a coder.
Boom.
Bang.
Yeah.
There you go.
Holy matrimony.
Yeah, he's actually got some pretty funny videos about the really early true first person system that you did in Unreal. I guess, was that Unreal Tournament?
Yeah, stuff way back.
Yeah,
I want to see those.
Like, they're up there. He's got a channel somewhere, and
I'll find it.
But that's the birth of the true first person system.
Nice.
Yeah, I got code and stuff back to see Soldier of Fortune 2, Quake 3.
Yeah, okay.
Rune. Ever remember Rune?
Rune. Yeah. You know where you could beat somebody with their arm?
Yeah, I hooked up the camera to the head of Ragnar or whatever in that, and that was awesome, running around in Rune, beating things down in true first person.
Rise of the Triad?
Nah, got a bit before me. As in, couldn't get the code for that, but did a lot of stuff with Doom and Duke Nukem and Quake and all that sort of stuff. So, I had mods for Quake 2, doing things that are kind of a staple in games nowadays. Back in 1998, 1999. So
yeah, we were actually watching some Rogue Spear footage back in just to show kind of some stuff.
Oh,
yep,
that's good stuff.
Yep, I miss it. You're bringing it back. I'm excited.
That was some of the most fun I had working on games in my entire life. Entire 20 years I've been doing this. That was some of the most fun we had, was Rogue Spear.
When you weren't doing JTech stuff.
Fun.
yeah, that's fun in a different way, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that's what kind of got me, is when we sat down to test an earlier version of this the other year, and it's like, that was the most fun I'd had in a multiplayer game in years, just because it was kind of everything we always wanted.
Oh yeah. Now, question 2, I'm probably gonna skip. It's when are we getting a battle royale mode, and you know how much I feel about that shit. I'm not gonna fucking entertain that. But
tomorrow we're gonna put it in tomorrow.
Oh God, John, don't do this to me. Don't fucking do this to me. Anyway, do you plan on making it? Oh, caveat this: do you plan on making a campaign at all in any form, or some kind of terrorist versus ass kickers campaign map with territory maps that can be seized under the control of either side? Wow, there's a mouthful.
That's a lengthy question. I'll take part of it. A campaign, yes and no. We are not going to do a traditional campaign where there's a bad guy. You know, he's trying to take over the world. He's got a bioweapon, whatever. Mm-hmm. Story. We're not going to do that. What we've come up with is kind of interesting. It's basically kind of like what the real CIA would do. There'd be hotspots around the world. Something's going to pop up. You're going to have to go do something, or maybe you don't. There's going to be a world view and a user interface with a world view. And basically you can go to it at any time, and you'll kind of get some intel about things that are happening around the world. Some hotspots where mission needs to be done, or something needs to happen will pop up, and you click on that, and then basically you go do that mission. Those will kind of come in either single, 1 or 2 or 3 kind of separate levels that are interconnected in some way. So you may have a hotspot that pops up and you have a mission to do, and you go do it, and that's that. Or you may have something pop up and you go do a mission, which then leads into a follow-on mission that's connected in some way, and then maybe even another one. And you never know, maybe something you do one day will pop up and affect something that comes down your road, comes your way later.
I took care of that question then.
Yeah, so we don't want to get into the whole thing, a whole story, and the bullshit stories that everybody comes up with. Sometimes they're fun to do, but they're not realistic, and they do take a lot of money to do right. So we thought this was a neat way. It's also a neat way to just have a good avenue to pump out content that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So maybe we start off with Southeast Asia type missions or something. And maybe, down the road, we've got some Africa missions or South America missions or something like that.
Yeah. Who knows? You might end up with something similar to like a Jagged Alliance situation. We're going to go in, secure an island, and make your way across to take out the evil leader, support the rebels, some crap like that.
Kind of like a traditional, unconventional warfare mission or something where you're overthrowing a dictator and doing a foreign internal defense or something like that, where you're,
the kind of thing you'd actually do, rather than some overbranching thing with a Hollywood actor starring in it for 5 minutes.
Right.
I guess to caveat off of that, since there's questions in the chat asking about how many maps you have at release, on top of that, I'm sure you remember the mission editor Igor. The original yep. Ghost Recon, right? So I guess the loaded question would be, how many maps do you plan on having, and are you going to have a map editor like Igor?
I'll take the map number question, and Chris can take the other one. The honest answer is I don't know.
There you go.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know, because and the reason is that we obviously have a plan. We obviously have a vision of what this game is, but we also know that it's a living game. It's going to be something that is continually made. It's not going to continually be in early access, but it's going to be, at some point we'll have version 1, and that'll come out, and that'll have the amount of content that it has. But we'd like to be able to continually push content out after that. So at what point does it become version 1.5 or 2? I don't know.
Right.
And then with the mission structure, how we have it, with the hotspot idea, it lends itself to doing that. So, I've got probably 10 maps, missions kind of on the books right now as far as what I like to do. Will all of those make it out to quote unquote version 1? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that I mean, it's kind of an open-ended answer, but
right. That's okay. Got an answer though.
And then I'll lead Kris into the Igor thing. I'm not even sure if Kris knows what it is.
I was going to say the editing in general, any type of editing, mission editing, and all that sort of stuff. It all kind of depends on what we can get away with Epic and licensing and so forth. Because they've got some, I can't remember the caveat or whatever it's about. You have to go through their front end or something for certain modding stuff. So it may depend whether we can actually do full-on editing or just scripting or not. It just depends on how far we can go with it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like an Igor specific thing, one thing Kris and I have talked about a lot is we would like to decouple the mission from the editor, but the way that Unreal Engine works, it doesn't natively work that way.
Okay.
So that was something that was really nice with the old Red Storm stuff is you basically had your render engine and your physics engine, all that stuff, but the missions sat on top of that. And that was purpose built that way back in the day.
Planning phase and stuff, right?
Correct. And really that's really what it was, is that was born out of the planning phase. Without the planning phase, we wouldn't have had it. But anyway, Unreal Engine doesn't work that way under the hood. So we'd like
not
to...
not the built-in stuff. We'd have to create quite a lot of things to make that work, unfortunately.
Okay.
But we do have it structured. We have the map structured to where there's a sub-level that you load in that has the mission-specific stuff in it. So even though you still have to go through the editor and it's a bit heavy-handed, you can basically make an empty mission map and then stream in the geometry and the lighting and stuff underneath it. So you don't have to worry about all that.
Okay. So there's like pre-assets to pull from and everything else.
Yeah, you got one which is like just the geometry. You got another one that sounds, and you can load those in. And if you wanted to say load in extra stuff, you could. So if you want to change the map by having some other geometry, that's fine. You load that in as another streamed-in level. You can do that with the mission if you like. So you can take one of the existing maps and modify it as long as you've got the editor, Unreal Editor. You could modify it without having to recreate the entire base geometry. So that's cool. But again, it's not something we can easily expose without kind of going through Unreal, going through Epic and all that.
Okay.
So yeah, something popped up on the chat about
Steam Workshop over and over again.
Workshop. Yeah. Yes, we are going to support Steam Workshop.
That's another question
form?
of how far we can go. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not quite sure yet. As far as the mod, I'll just kind of head this one off. As far as modding in general, it's coming. We really, really want to make sure that the foundational systems of the game are in place, so that anything that does, any mods that do start, they don't have to go back and totally change something.
Oh yeah.
Because we wouldn't change something. Like I know we just totally changed the way. What'd you change? Gameplay abilities or something.
Yeah, this bloody stupid bug with trying to put this lag compensation in, and one of the core functions for shooting was causing issues. And it's like the simplest thing. It's like, why is this causing issues? We had to swap it around to we're meaning to anyway. We had to swap it to the gameplay ability system so it predicts and all that type of stuff better. And the result was better, but it was a pretty big change to have to do so late in development, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so it basically changed a major underlying feature. And if mods would have relied on that, well, guess what? Now your mod's busted. It's not going to work. You got to start over. So,
yeah, much screaming in the forums and calls for death. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that, the foundation is there and solid before we open it up to everybody else.
Okay. CT Bear, I can personally attest, based upon conversation I've had with John, that there's enough financial support to continue development. If he quit his day job to do it, I'm sure he's got enough financial support. Let's put it that way.
There's some money there, yeah. The way we've done it to this point is we've worked with no money, or money that I've put in over the years, or we got a little bit of funding from the pre-sale thing a while ago, and each stage got us to the next stage. And
they're very understanding wives as well.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. You got to have understanding wives when you're doing this, or
Yes.
you would either be dead, divorced, or not making games anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, we've got to sleep sometime, and they have cricket bats and knives.
Oh, jeez.
Chris's wife has a cricket bat.
Yeah,
Mine
I was
doesn't.
gonna say, wait a minute. Oh man.
So we're at the point where we really got to the point where Chris and I were like, you know what, we've been at this for a long time. For lack of a better way, just like fuck it, we got to do it. And we're just like, all right, let's put it out, and it is what it is. And the people that understand it will get it, and the people that don't will shit all over us. But so be it.
Thank God, John. I feel better now because I'm not gonna lie to you. I look at some of the stuff in GB discussion and I go, I think you and I had that discussion privately though. I think you already know how I feel about that. But.
Take a step back, have a drink, and do something else for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
That happens.
Will there be surround sound support? I guess the specific question was Dolby 5.1 surround support. I'm sure that's probably an answer of yes. I don't want to assume.
No, it's sound. We're actually getting into some sound stuff now, but
yeah.
How far it goes, don't know at this stage.
Yeah, the standard surround sound stuff will be in there. We're not probably not going to go down 7.1 or any kind of funky, crazy spatial stuff, other than kind of your general basic.
Currently, whatever Unreal currently supports, we've looked into, is it WYs or it is, and there's also Steam Audio and Oculus. There's a lot of things that you could possibly use, but the thing is, again, it's time and having someone, like if I stop off and if I step aside and start doing all this audio research and work on the engine, then it means I'm not doing anything else. So that's the problem of having limited people. Yeah.
And it makes sense. I'm starting to realize a lot of these come down to the engine, since you're using Unreal Engine now, as opposed to, I guess, like John alluded to, the Red Storm engine you guys had. I'm not even sure what that was called back in the day.
There were a few different ones we used at Red Storm. They all had unique names based on generals. Oh no, those were the code names. Those are the project code names. Yeah, no, those were the project code names. The engine names. Oh my gosh. Oh geez, I'm getting old.
I'll get you off that one.
Please.
Well, I guess how many maps got planned just got answered. Steam Workshop, we already answered that one. I guess a funny one. Do you guys drink Black Rifle coffee?
That's funny that you asked that.
Black Rifle. I don't even know what Black Rifle coffee is.
Oh, of course.
I actually I ordered a sampler from them a few months ago, and thought it was delicious, and have not got around to ordering more.
All right, I'll send you some, John.
I just read a news thing where they're opening a East Coast roaster in Tennessee.
So it's a US thing then, I'd take it.
Yeah, it probably cost a lot to get it down to him.
I remember that we got Starbucks down here for a while, and that failed miserably because it was like, well, why would we go buy that when we've got coffee shops every 5 minutes, which give us gourmet stuff here and there. So
Black Rifle is much better than Starbucks.
Yeah.
Well, it might do all right down here, but yeah, no, I live near Melbourne, man, so we're spoilt for coffee. Like, there might be a Starbucks at every corner, but there's a coffee shop in between all those. So.
Nice. So what got you into hardcore tactical shooters to begin with?
It was my job to start with.
There you go.
Honestly, I mean, that was it. I actually went to school. Well, geez, I got a pretty weird history, but out of high school, I wanted to be a chef. So I went to chef school for 6 months, decided that wasn't for me, went to be an architect, did 2 years of architecture school. That's when I was then got into the VR stuff and realized that, you know what, games are pretty cool. And I have a kind of a technical art background with the architecture. And I was like, you know what, this is a good fit. So I took a jump and got in with Red Storm and love the subject matter. And because I've always been interested in the military and different aspects of it and things like that. And it just, I don't know, everything just kind of matched up and it just kind of worked. And that's the type of games I like playing.
Yeah,
Kris?
that's what it ended up being for me as well. That just this is the kind of game I like playing because what you have way back, Doom and Duke Nukem. I used to play Duke Nukem. I used to play. This is at my high school. We made a level based on the high school. It was terrible.
Oh,
and,
nice.
That's
probably not.
I'm sure that'd fly nowadays.
Different time.
Yeah.
We're playing this. The bloody principal walks in. I got the plans off the principal, and I made this level. And the principal walks in. We're shooting the crap out of each other in the library. I'm sure that didn't go down too well.
That's what I did with Counter-Strike back in the day too. It's funny.
But that was way back, and I used to kick ass at that and would modify it. And then it got to the point where it was like, well, I'm doing really well at this. How can I modify it so I don't do as well? Like rocket launchers. There were rocket launchers in that game, and I'd kick ass rocket launchers, so I'd take them out, and then I'd modify the pistol to this and that, and it just kept going from there. And I found that the games I enjoyed the most, which I didn't kick ass at so much, at least with my mates, was the harder ones. And then when I discovered things like Rainbow Six and that, I was getting my ass kicked. I was like, this is for me, and it kind of went from there.
Sweet.
Some things just when you're young and it's all Twitch shooters, some things just seem a bit too. I mean, I watch the things online now, and it's like, well, how's that fun? You're wiping the floor with everybody. How's that fun? There's no challenge there.
Yeah, we used to play Quake Arena in the office all the time, though. I mean, that's Twitch as hell, but oh my god, we spent so many hours playing that. It was ridiculous.
Quake 3, man, I talk shit to the bots because they respond back.
That was Unreal Tournament 99. That was you're fighting the bots there, getting your ass kicked by Zan and all that guy. You bastards! He's like, hang on, it's AI. I won't be yelling at it. Yeah.
Well, now I'm going to get into the meat of stuff because we're going to get into, I guess, kind of the more ground branch specific stuff is what I'm looking at on my list here. Speaking of sounds, we talked about audio with surround sound and stuff like that. What in-depth sounds do you guys have planned? For example, bullet snaps, or of course we know the audio currently is placeholder, like you mentioned before in one of my videos, Kris, I believe.
Yep.
Or was it John? I'm not sure, but I know all
we
the
probably
sounds
both did at some point.
Yeah.
Because we like to make note of it because it's very important.
Yeah. I thought they sounded pretty simple. I was like, oh, that sounds just like the Ghost Recon sounds. Like, I'm sure that's placeholder and everything else, and you confirmed it. So
yeah, someone else said that too, and they are not.
They're not.
They are not. Well, I mean, they are not Ghost Recon sounds, obviously.
Okay. Yeah.
There's nothing that was pulled from other games. I have heard that from another place.
They said that's ripped from Counter-Strike. That's ripped from Vegas. Like, no.
They didn't rip anything then. Yeah, there you
go. Nope. Absolutely not. Everything, I'll tell you where we got it. Everything was purchased from a place called Online Sound Bank, either Sound Dog or it was called Pro Sound. And then we had a couple weapon audio library thingies that we had purchased. So who's to say that the same source stuff wasn't used somewhere else? I don't know, but that's where everything has come from.
Well, there you go, assholes. Don't question.
I want to make that very clear.
Look, clear. Either that or John and I making sound effects like pew pew, snap, bang.
Oh yeah, don't do that. Kris is tugging at my heartstrings right now. Oh man.
But
go ahead.
The weapon sounds are in process of being redone. I actually have a whole pile of them I need to get in. We have we brought somebody on board to take over doing the sound work that actually knows what they're doing and doesn't just go out and buy something on the internet and run it through a filter and throw it in the game. Because neither Kris or I are sound guys. And so what we've got coming are sounds based on distances, things that need to get that will get put in. We are going to look at sound occlusion. We really like the Insurgency Sandstorm.
Oh my God.
Beta, the sound.
Oh my God.
Setup they've got in there. It's crazy good. I give them
close
props on that.
your eyes listening to that and go, oh my god, yes.
Yeah, so we would like to get to that level, if possible. It may take us a little while, but that's what we're shooting for.
That would be fucking. I mean, that's almost like my buddy and I were talking about that because we're both Marines, both roommates and shit like that. He was like, yeah, there's PTSD simulator. I'm like, I don't know if I'd say that level, but yeah, it's pretty triggering.
Well, I mean that's good and bad, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun for us. Crazy like that.
Yeah.
For me personally, though, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
I was going to say it's not so great if you have a game making people curl up in a ball, but I guess really if you want realism, that's the thing. Hey.
No. For me personally, personal question: Scar H, Scar L variants.
I want this gun. I want this.
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I'm sure you've heard that 10,000 fucking times. I know, but I'm gonna sneak it in there.
We actually have we have scars. They are lower quality, so they were pulled out. They will be redone and put back in.
Okay.
Same with the Tavor. It's like, oh yeah, Tavor. It's like we had one. Piss off. Like,
yeah. Everybody's got their thing that they want. It's funny.
Their thing.
Yeah. It's funny, but they will be in at some point before we reach first full release.
Future, we're not going to ask any more gun stuff. Okay, we already covered that.
Yeah, one thing that we run into with guns is it's that gray area of licensing.
Yes.
And you can kind of go one of two ways. You can you go three ways. You can be really anal about it and go after actual approvals and such, which can be hit or miss, or it can be really easy. Or you can just say, screw it, I'm putting them in there and whatever happens. Or you can do nothing name brand and change things ever so slightly visually and have, MQ6 weapon, right. Whatever the hell that would be, right?
Right. This is the Deagle. Yeah, it's not the
it's not the Desert Eagle, it's the Deagle.
Yeah, something like that. So we actually partnered up with some really great guys. Devil Dog Gamer. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I am.
He's got a buddy that does it's affiliated with him that reached out to us and actually runs a company that handles weapon licensing for games and movies. And he's helping us navigate through some of that stuff.
Awesome.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy. Glock is the biggest, pretty much asshats when it comes to licensing. So you will never see a Glock in the game.
Sorry,
anymore.
Glock lovers.
You will see a Agency Arms.
There you go.
Fully custom Agency Arms based on a Glock, but that's about it.
Well, so you're gonna have Colt's version of a Glock and Sig's version of a Glock and everyone else's versions of a Glock except a Glock.
Right.
Yep. Well,
that was a long-winded answer. Scars are coming. There you go.
Hey, you know what? I just shut up and let you guys talk because that's perfect. I mean, we're here for you, so.
But apparently no L85s anytime soon because Z hates
Oh
it.
Yeah. Our weapon modeler has some aversion to the L85. Like, just I don't know why exactly, but.
So L85 soon? No. And you're like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Doesn't like bullpups or.
No, I don't know. We'll have to ask her why. She just does not like that gun and will not make it. So. But it'll make it in. It'll make it in eventually.
Oh, for sure.
Speaking of, I guess we gotta cover optics here. I know we have a backup iron sight system. I heard rumors about them being, a flip top, which leads me into the other question about magnifiers.
Yeah, we can both touch on that, but magnifiers are coming. I actually have a prototype in, and it works. There's just no method of actually doing it.
Kind of one of the things that holds us back is if something suddenly requires an animation to really make it work, we kind of tend to hold back because it's like, how's this going to work that magically appears rather than actually seeing some sort of animation. Then we see someone else's project or something. It's like, yeah, that's all they did. It's like, oh crap, maybe we should just throw it in there so that the functionality's there and you guys can use your imagination for a little while. But
yeah, what we'll probably do is just have it in and then whatever the command, whatever the UI element or whatever to turn it to flip it. That'll happen and you'll see it flip, but there won't be actually
there will be no hand
animation
reaching
or
up
anything
to push it up or anything like that.
Okay.
And then the flip up backup sites, we actually built everything for them to work.
Yep.
There's just there's no user interface element or way to actually do it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got a few things like that. Zeroing. People keep bringing up, when we change to zeroing, it's like, yeah, that's actually been there forever, but you can't access it, man.
Yeah.
Yet.
So that stuff's coming. It's one thing about just in general. I mean, we're a very, very, very small team, and will we get big one day? I have no idea. I want to keep things small anyway, but as Kris alluded to earlier, it's like you get into a situation where you have all these cool things that you want to do, but if you stop doing XYZ so you can do ABC, then something's always not getting done. And you have to kind of prioritize and make sure that the things that are getting done are the important things right now, as opposed to the things that are kind of cool and everything and neat to have, but would be fine if you did them later.
This is why you occasionally get things that to do with the UE and so forth, which are kind of, it's like, why don't they just fix that? It's like, well, if Kris stops there and fixes that UE thing that links to this thing, that links to that thing, it becomes a bit of a rabbit hole. And while he's doing that, the actual bugs in the core gameplay don't get fixed. So what do you want?
And John gets anxiety and pissed off.
Yeah.
Makes my week longer.
We have a thing about rabbit holes that comes up. You'll hear us say it's too much of a rabbit hole quite a lot. And that's just because, as you're saying, one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. So before you know, you've tried to fix one thing and spent a week on it. It's like, it was just one thing.
Yeah, it's a cascading issue, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to be able to hire 20 people. Like you see all these other games like Squad. Great guy. I don't know them as individuals, but it's a great project and everything.
Yeah.
As far as the game goes.
We're not going to get into my personal opinions on the community, but that's okay.
I don't know. I don't participate. I have it. I play it every now and then, just as more of research than it is anything else for me. I was
going to say, sometimes you have to separate community from the game.
That too.
You got. Yeah. That's all over the place.
But my point about them is that they were successful in generating revenue and money, Kickstarter, and then selling it and everything. So they have a team of 30 people, which is awesome for them. That allows them to do things that we just simply can't right now with basically the 2 core developers that we have, and then the 4 or so people that basically contract out and do part-time work and things. So we have not reached that financial kind of level to where we can go out and just hire people. We're not there yet, so we still have to kind of keep plodding along as we have been until we get to that point.
So of course we're talking about adversarial multiplayer in chat, and I think we already have team versus team multiplayer, do we not?
Yeah. Technically it's in there. Yeah.
I thought I've seen where you can pick Alpha and Bravo, and that side kind of determines. I think you guys color schemed them as well, did you not? Green and black, or was that?
You can actually restrict it to whatever you like.
Server setting. Yeah. Okay.
What's funny about that, about the PvP stuff, is that we way back when Kris and I started, we're like, yeah, we got to do this stuff. Then we got to the point, what? Co-op is pretty cool. It's actually working really well.
People are playing more co-op than it's like, oh shit.
I'll be honest with you. That's the meat of the game for me. It really is.
Yeah. So we're in a weird spot where there's a lot of people that the PvP actually turned out to be pretty damn fun in and of itself. So we didn't expect that.
we got it working. People were enjoying the co-op a lot in the testing. So we'll focus on that for a while, and then it's kind of ballooned out. We kept doing things co-op, and PvP kind of stayed where it was. But as it turns out, where it was functional, if not perfect. It was at least functional. But yeah, now we've got people coming along. Oh, what about the PvP? It's like, well, PvP's there, but yeah. What do you focus on? What's everyone buying the game for? And you've got people who want to do fantastic cooperative, going through clearing out areas, and got people who no, I want to kill other people. It's like, where's the happy medium there? So
yep,
just
that's kind of where we're at right now.
Just don't try to do esports with it.
No, we're not. If somebody wants to take it and say, hey, we're gonna mod it to work with esports, have at it. But
yeah.
I love people telling me the matchmaking sucks. I'm like, there's matchmaking in our game.
That might be why it sucks, because there isn't. This shit doesn't work.
It's like, yeah, it doesn't. What? I love. Yeah, you're getting told about features that suck in your game. You're like, we've got that feature. No, we don't. Yeah, it's very, very confusing at times.
It's funny. The more I look at it, the more I realize that people haven't played like the original. Like I kind of have a feeling of the layout, because I played Rainbow Six Rogue Spear. I played the Covert Ops fucking version of it, where it was like the three to five missions, and you had the encyclopedia as the extra disc and everything else.
Oh, that was fun to make.
Yeah, that was great. I love that. I think I poured more time into that bonus disc than I did, because I didn't invest at the time, so I was like all about it, reading the field manuals and everything else, because I was a junky, stupid kid back in the day. Original Ghost Recon, stuff like that. So I'm kind of familiar with that layout, and then the more I kind of see, like, what about this cinematic stuff, and what about that cinematic stuff? I'm just like, that's kind of the whole premise of like the old school games, was there was no, like, you kind of did it yourself. You kind of had that tactical freedom. There's no cutscene or quick time event or whatever. So I'm just kind of noticing the separatism there.
Well, that community or those types of players tend to fall into two groups. You've got pre-Vegas and post-Vegas.
Yeah.
And they can mix, and nobody's right or wrong. You like what you like and whatever. But it's interesting, because I'll get into conversations with people, and they'll be talking about how awesome Rainbow Six was and everything. And I'm thinking, oh yeah. And then they let me know, somehow I figure out they're talking about Vegas and Vegas forward. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's neat, I guess. But it's interesting, because people from both sides of that can still enjoy, the game, but you do tend to find that kind of split about that time period.
Yeah, was it real men don't face their enemy; they put their back towards them? Is that right? That's what I always got from it.
Yeah, that always got me too, when they would suck into cover and use that. I was like, I'm never ever gonna. I've never done that. I've always pied around the corner. That's like you're losing tactical relay information. That was kind of like, I never understood that, but it worked in the game, I guess.
Well, one of the things I did for a lot of the movement stuff in Ground Branch came from watching people play paintball, because I'm paintball referee quite a lot, and you watch people never played before, and they do exactly like they've done in video games. So you see people doing the Gears of War shit, and they get to a piece of cover, and their back goes to it, and they do like a 180 to shoot at people. It's like, Jesus, no. So you're sitting there in the middle of a paintball field getting shot at, trying to teach a guy, no, you sit back like this, and you bring the gun up, and you try to teach him how to get around a corner. It's hilarious sometimes. But.
Yeah. What's pieing?
You mean I should point my gun at the person when I want to shoot? Yes.
Well, it's funny, because we had a lot of people, after the release of Ground Branch initially, there was this rush of people buying it, and then all of a sudden you start getting these returns, and you start reading the reasons why they're returns, and it's just like, they think it's Call of Duty something or other.
No.
And it's just not. Or you see somebody played it for 15 minutes, and that was it. So obviously there's a this type of game, hasn't been around for a while. So people go and buy it thinking it's one thing, and then realizing it's another. And either a light bulb goes on, says it's awesome, or this sucks, this is trash, I'm refunding it.
Yeah, you still got questions about the third person. Like, how do I make this third person mode and that third person mode? It's like, hang on a minute, it's quite pretty clearly it says first person. Because we had the third person debug, it's like, oh no, it must have third person. And it's like, no, it does not.
No.
The weapon postures throw people off, which is fine. But if you spend 5 minutes, figure and learn what it is and how you use it, all the better.
Yeah. We mean I can't room clear with this sniper rifle. What? It keeps hitting things.
Oh my God! I saw a guy trying to clear a sniper rifle. I think it was a 12x optic with your M14 EBR model you have in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to clear room with it.
I had to hold back the inner NCO a little bit and just kind of laugh. It was on stream, but it was hey, if you want to do it, go for it. I'm not going to detract from your gameplay, but it just like there's so many like triggering moments like plugging the fatal funnel and everything else that I have to like remind myself, because that's how immersed I get into it. And I really like it.
Look, I get a massive erection when I'm playing, or I see someone playing when they walk up to a door and you playing cooperative. Everyone comes to this door, they all communicate, they clear it and all that stuff. And then before they walk in, you see anyone who has a long gun, they switch to their handgun and chest it, and then they walk in, or they switch to someone's of an alternate sighting rather than trying to clear it with the gun up. I love that type of stuff. But again, trying to get that in a pub game all the time is a bit difficult.
Yeah. Sometimes you get surprised. And there was actually a good question in chat about a wound system or a targeted hit detection system. Just out of curiosity.
Well, there is the locational damage. Has been locational damage, and the way the damage actually works is kind of everything actually has the same amount of every bullet has the same amount of damage that it does. We just haven't changed that. It was something we were meant to change and never have. But the way it does the damage depends on how much it actually penetrates the models. This is why you get people going, "Oh, I've hit the guy. Why didn't he drop?" And it's like, well, you must have winged him. Because that's how the system works. It's the same for the AI or the players. If you like clip them on the arm and it goes in and out really quickly, it does stuff all damage. Whereas you get it in the chest and it penetrates right in, then it does full damage. So that's kind of why, if you get a nice clear shot with a shotgun, you're always going to kill them because everything's going bang right in the center of mass. But with the hitboxes, half the problem is that there's a slight desync when it's online. So when you're aiming and what the server has are slightly off. So that's why you're missing those great headshots and that upper torso shots. Ever so slightly off because of the slight desync, and that's the thing I'm trying to fix right now.
Okay.
And with any luck, it'll get to the point where you shouldn't. Apart from the ever so slight delay between maybe blood appearing on the screen, because I don't know if you've seen that in a lot of games. You fire, there's blood, but nothing happens.
Right.
So I'm trying to do it the other way around, where you fire, the server says yes if you, then you see the blood. So
you actually have that as a response to confirm that you've actually hit the target. Yeah,
but it's who do you favor? Do you favor the guy running behind cover, or do you favor the guy shooting? You got to pick which is better. I mean, you don't want to shoot. You don't want to have a guy run behind cover and a second later he dies, going, "What the hell?" So you got to find what works and what doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy with the guy with the 500 ping, does he deserve the same kind of lag compensation as the guy with 150 ping? Yeah.
I'll let you figure that one out. I don't have comment on that one. And CT Bear, I can answer that question. When you draw a stroke, you bring it to center and then present. You don't do what's called fishing or bowling with the weapon when you draw it. So it's basically to snap to the point target of engagement, which I'm sure these guys emulated. So
yeah, that's one of those things that throws people off.
Oh, nomenclature. Yeah. And you got, there's no hierarchy. That's hierarchy. This is hierarchy. That's lowerity. What that? Yeah, everyone's version of high and low.
Everyone's version of high and low. Like I talked to my buddy like ZFG Nation. You'll see him here. He was a ranger, army ranger back in the day, and his version of high ready is different than my version of high ready and everything else. So a lot of vernacular differences.
The versioning game is not so much what you would call high ready or what you would call low ready. It's more just for coding wise. That low is low because I can identify it quickly in the engine, and ready is that. So again, can identify it quickly when I'm working on the engine, and that's not exactly the right. There is no, unfortunately, no universal low ready. There is no universal high ready. It's just everyone's got their idea of what is. Yeah. I mean, I guess that'd be the ultimate goal. That's what VR is supposed to allow us to do, is everyone going to do what they like.
Oh, well, then that's going to caveat into another question then. Is there going to be VR support?
Well, if you go back to 2014, you'll see VR support in.
There's an awesome video of Kris clearing the kill house with it.
Really?
Yes, it's very awesome.
I need you to send me those links, Kris. Can you PM me those in Discord?
I can try. Hang on a second.
It worked extremely well at one point, and then we went through a engine upgrade or something. I don't know. And
they came out with the Facebook bought them, and because I've got a DK2 here, I've got a couple of DK1s, and we had this kill house. I was running the kill house with a DK1, I think it was, and the way I had it set up is that the mouse controls the position of the weapon up and down. So you'd lower it slightly, run in the room, then bring out the pistol to engage and go, 2 shots, everything, and drop it back down. It's really awesome. Like I said, I'll find it for you. You can see for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And the kind of the proof was that I ran it without VR and then ran it with VR, and the VR one was faster.
So. Oh, okay.
It also felt bloody cool because, as I say, the mouse controls the gun. There it is. I've actually found it.
I might actually put this on stream. I mean, we've been running about 47 minutes. I don't want to run you guys too over. If you guys want to keep going, we'll keep going. I'll take you as long as I can get you.
There we go.
A little bit longer.
Okay. Will suppression be a thing in the future, as in for players? Now, I'm not too sure what that question exactly means. As far as maybe it's like a Ghost Recon system back in Future Soldier system, like it sucks in or something. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Like a blurring effect, I guess is what he's asking.
Blurring.
I don't know exactly what he's asking.
I mean, like when rounds are going past your head?
Yeah, I kind of figured that solved itself, in my opinion, but I guess I'll ask the question.
It's kind of a weird one. It's like, is blurring... When you get shot at in real life, did your vision blur or not? It's like
it did for me. I mean, I kind of got sucked into it a little bit, but that's about it. I didn't have any blurry vision.
I was gonna say you tend to, when things fly past your head, you tend to shit yourself and duck, and I think that's kind of why we have the cracking and the whiz bang system as we have. And a whiz means it's nearby, a crack means it's very, very close indeed. And I'd rather the effect of the bullet snapping past your head, making a loud noise and scaring 10 kinds of shit out of you, makes you duck behind cover and go, oh my god, rather than blurring the screen artificially. But
okay.
And we can make that better than it is right now. Yeah. But yes, that's kind of the overall theory that we have.
Nog, yeah,
yeah.
Everything's Nog.
Yeah,
that old term.
That old term that half people probably don't even know what it is anymore.
No, a lot of people know what we mean.
But basically, it's kind of a concept of just make things happen the way they really happen, and let the reaction be what it is. Because games do a lot of things to artificially make you do something or artificially make something seem like it is what it is, when really there's usually a more simple solution to it, and the person playing is the one that actually has a reaction instead of the game forcing that reaction on them. So that's kind of the idea that we have kind of built everything around.
Cool. That takes care of tethering. That takes care of cinematics. It takes care of all of that. Thank you. Thank you.
Basically, if you can find a realist, a way that the real world would kind of balance something, go for that rather than artificially doing it if you can. That's basically all it comes down to.
Now, sometimes it is a game, and sometimes there are some gamey things that actually, it comes down to a situation where, hey, that gamey thing, you made this really fun. And
where's our weapon jamming? Weapon jamming is so realistic. Put weapon jamming in, but is it fun?
I mean, I'd be okay with it, but okay, it's
kind of that's like, how far do you go with that? I mean, is it going to be that fun? It's like, oh yeah, this is fun. Oh shit, it's the jamming one's an interesting one because some people are loving it. Oh, it's so real, and
it is.
Then when it happens to them, it's like, oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah, and then you don't really have a mechanism in game to make your weapon less likely to jam than anybody else's. So it's like, that's the rabbit hole thing that we were talking about earlier is if you don't have a mechanism to clean your weapon and pick and choose the ammo you use or whatever could lead to jamming, then it's just arbitrary. Right. It's arbitrarily random, and that's no fun for anybody.
I can see it now. Everyone clears the warehouse A. Everyone clear warehouse A. Right. Everyone maintain your weapons.
Like who the hell wants to sit down and do that, right? Maybe some people do. I don't know.
I definitely think that would detract from the core mechanic of what the game's supposed to be about. Because I mean, if you weren't, if you were one of my boots and you weren't having a clean weapon, you were going either downrange for any kind of fucking either a training exercise or in the shit, I'd probably snap off on you. So yeah, I think it's.
That's just one of those things. It's like, oh, you can put a mechanic in there, but if you don't give the player a way to manipulate that mechanic for good or bad, then it's just arbitrary random shit. And sometimes that doesn't come off very well.
Yeah, where's our seat magazine button? Oh, I should have reloaded, but I didn't seat the magazine properly. Smack it again. Yeah,
wow.
What was that one game that
America's Army?
Well, there's that, but no, was it Dust? That it's not around anymore.
Oh, Dust was based on the kind of I remember Dust. Dust was based on what Receiver did. Receiver had the whole, multiple button presses, which is in a way it's kind of separating the boys from the men. It's like you got to remember the procedures and all that. But the thing is, you even me with stuff all training didn't take me long to get to the point where reloading handguns and so forth was natural as anything. So I never kind of quite got that.
Yeah, that's a level where I kind of draw the line for me, because I don't want to have to manually do every step of something.
Q R T E R V
O. Right. I get why it's cool in certain circumstances, but to me, if I were to doing that out in real life, it would be a natural flow. Right. I wouldn't think about. So to me, in games like this, I try to think of, well, this is something I would do without thought and just flow through it in real life. So we're going to automate it. Kris is a little bit on the other way. He's like, oh man, why not? We can do this. Why not do some of this extra stuff? So he and I have a lot of
and then John beats
conversations.
Me.
Which is good because we usually come to a happy medium with it all.
John, it's your wife with the croquet bat, you said, right?
Cricket bat.
Cricket bat. Croquet.
I've also got a wife I piss off her uncle too much. He'll bury me out in the middle of the desert. So
yeah. He lives in a place where you could go and never be found.
Several places.
Quite a while back.
It's funny how fast you can get to a place you can't be found out here.
Okay.
Anyway,
you're putting ideas in my head. The question was asked, what's the medical system going to look like in the future? And I assume you guys are going to have a medical system if that's the case?
Yeah, it'll start out as a basic system where the whole idea is that you'll never gain health, obviously, but there will be certain wounds that you may take that you are able to either stop or slow down the effect. So it would be pretty basic medical attention to something. You may even get a situation where you have a fatal wound that you're basically like bleeding out, and you can apply some kind of medical attention to it to slow it down, but eventually you're still going to bleed out. But you can still be combat effective for whatever, another 30 seconds, a minute, who knows?
Yeah, you could make that part of the mission as well.
Yeah.
So you don't want to get a decent mission a report at the end. So it's like, okay, we're going to lose this guy. Oh no, we'll stabilize him. Okay, at the end, and then you finish the mission and you didn't lose any operatives, that type of thing.
And we also want to do look into dragging your buddies. So if he's incapacitated, we want to go drag. I even want to go as far as to say, all right, I can grab you by the drag handle on your vest. I'm pulling you, and the guy being pulled, I can still shoot.
You can still shoot.
So I'm still effectively, in combat at that time. I just can't physically move myself for whatever reason. So whether we get to that or not, I'm not entirely sure, but that's kind of the road I'd like to go down with that.
Yeah, you have to wait for that damn coder to get the ragdolls and physics.
Yeah, Chris, God, the MVGs were already a mounting issue.
Oh no!
Yes.
I hate that. Small things that creep up and they haunt you. Why isn't that where it was working? Yes. The great one is when it works perfectly fine and all your testing and dev work and all that stuff, and then you hit the package button and it gets out there in the real world. It's all broken. It's like, what happened?
Yeah. There's a process where you have the dev build. It's all the development stuff, and And then, yeah, it cooks it down and takes out all the shit it doesn't need and puts it in a format that is more efficient, whatever, and then packages that up. And that's what is basically goes out to the consumer. But there's like it's a black box in there.
That process breaks. Like certain things break in that process for some weird reason. It's a known issue. You go on the developer section, the Answer Hub and so forth for Unreal, and you'll see people going, "Why did this work here? But when I made it packaged, it doesn't."
Because it's a controlled environment, you know, you can do variables and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very weird. There's even times where Chris will do something and then he'll check it in, and I'll get him like, "Oh shit, dude, this doesn't work." He's like, "What do you mean it doesn't work? I'm doing it right now." I don't know. It doesn't work.
Fix it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any? Well, obviously, I'm sure there are character models planned, and what type? I guess that alludes into well, I guess character models, and of course that goes into uniform selection, which of course goes in that whole branding thing we talked about earlier in licensing. I'm sure
there will be a lot more gear, weapon attachments, and things like that over the course of the life of the project. It's to the point now, to be quite honest, is all right, we could spend time putting in an 8th shirt or pants number 5. Does that change the game any? No. Right now. Is it cool that we have all these options? Absolutely. Down the road, once we can vault things, or once we can go prone, or all these things that actually do affect gameplay, once all that stuff's in, then we can, or if we generate more revenue and have can bring on some more people and say, all right, sit over in that corner and make me 50 shirts, 50 pairs of pants, 18 camo pattern, right? I mean, we feel that stuff is to the point where it represents the game.
The system's in place. The system's in place.
So I guess
now that being said, every now and then we'll come across something, either the modelers will say, all right, I got this and we're going to throw this in there, or somebody offers up a weapon or model or something, like, all right, we'll take it, make it work in our game and put it in. So you'll see things pop up every now and then get thrown in there, but that's not the core focus at the moment.
And then I'm going to caveat off of that. What currently that you can say is currently the core focus, and what can we look forward to, and when in the immediate future? Immediate future, say, I don't know, pick a time frame, say a month from now.
I'll give you a general, and then Chris can chime in with his side of it. Right now, in the immediate future, I am starting to work on an actual training tutorial setup.
Okay.
So we have the training maps that are in there, but this would be kind of your typical jump in. Here's how you do stuff. Go to station A, learn how to do this. Go to station B, learn how to do that.
Raven Shield like.
Yeah, we found that there's enough in there that is different or unique, that people don't quite understand how it all works, or that something's even in there to start with. So it's kind of one of those things. And then we want to do a free weekend here, not too long. So it'd be nice to have that in place before we do that.
Before we get people jumping in going, where's my gun?
Right. Why can't I see my gun? Why can't I see this? All that kind of stuff. So that's the short term. More, we want to get in prone, vaulting, kind of finish off the base movement stuff.
Yeah, holding us back. People are like, oh, the jump sucks. Like, we know the jump sucks. It's just the default Unreal Engine jump. We haven't got the animations for it. Of course, it sucks.
Yeah.
I don't care if you guys ever work on the jump. Honestly, I don't.
It's really only in there so you can get around things that you would get around with a vault or a clamber or some other.
I hate games where it's like, I always hated it when I had the game where it's like, okay, why can't I get over this tiny ledge? And it's like, I want to jump or something.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that always pissed me off about the hardcore things. And then armor. The classic joke with armor was like, can you jump? It's like, no.
What's some of the other stuff that, we want to get, AI, of course, is going to be continually continually going. We do have prototypes of squad-based AI and squad commands that is in a separate project right now. It's not in Ground Branch.
Yeah.
Oh.
The AI, well, not a project we're doing. Don't look into it too deep.
Okay. I was gonna say I saw some stuff on Twitter, and I was like, okay, because you guys post a lot of updates on Twitter.
No,
it's
good.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal with the AI. The guy doing the AI has been in the industry longer than me. He's like 25 years. Used to work on the old Worms games.
Oh yeah, Armageddon. Yeah.
Bunch of other stuff. And he's basically an academic now. He's a professor teaching computer science and AI stuff over in the UK. We have a relationship where he's developing an AI system that he will either sell, to the market it himself. He'll use it for his project, which is basically some of the police stuff that you've seen and some of those screenshots and things.
Okay.
And he's using Ground Branch as the development platform for it.
Okay.
We have a business relationship set up with it and everything. So that's how it's working. So he's working in his own code base, and it'll be a plugin. It is a plugin to Ground Branch, basically. So we're in the process of getting that stuff, the squad-based things, tested and refined in his project, and it will then get moved over into the plugin for Ground Branch.
Okay, so there is that answers the question as far as like, and I kind of assume so. There will be kind of AI teammate controls if it's not like a co-op campaign, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, there you go. There's your short answer, guys. And everybody keeps asking me about being a trainer or whatever. I'm like, okay, I don't think they want to do that with me right now. That'd be cool.
Do you want to scan your face?
I mean, do you want me to? I can make that happen.
That's another rabbit hole, because you can have a guy.
Yeah.
You could have a guy in there, and like the old America's Army thing, dude barking at you and stuff, which is kind of neat. But in this day and age, then you got to have facial animation, and you got to have all that nonsense.
Yeah, we already have a few of those moments where you see some debug stuff and the guy looks staring at you going, I've seen some shit. It's very, yeah.
Yeah, you need anything from me, let me know, guys. I'll ask for a plane ticket, food, and shelter, and you don't have to pay me. I'm good. That's all I ask. But yeah.
Duly noted.
Plane ticket there, plane ticket back. We're good. Sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're right, man.
But
so we got any more questions here? So we're going a little over an hour now.
Yeah, we've been way over. These guys have been generous with their time, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up because I don't want to take any much time from their dev cycle or from families and whatnot. So if there's any last minute questions, get them in now, beforehand. So because I went through my list here, so we'll probably give it a few minutes before we wrap this up. So I don't want to take any more time from them. Plus, we can show off some stuff.
I'm going to have some ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm going to have.
What are you going to
take a break. I just got chocolate. Sometimes I mix peanut butter in with it.
You have to mix peanut butter. John, I love peanut butter. Always.
I know.
Always.
So do I.
I'll just get more
chocolate
coffee
ice cream, mix some peanut butter in there.
That's right. Well, I hate to wrap this up, but I'm going to go ahead and do that because I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. I appreciate you guys coming out here and doing this, coming out here like you're here. But just taking the time to do this and, advocate this. And
we appreciate what you're doing because a game like this is word of mouth, and it's people talking about it and showing it and doing things like this. So we greatly appreciate all the help that you've given to this point.
I just want to see you guys grow and make this the golden era of tactical shooters like it used to be. Just bring that shit back, man.
I hope so.
And we're gonna keep riding this every step of the way. So, John, Chris, I don't want to take too much of your time anymore. So thank you guys for stopping out. I'll wrap this up and let you guys get back to your ice cream, and Chris, Chris the kids, I'm sure. So
coffee.
Let's do this again sometime.
Oh yeah,
we'll catch up. in a little bit and see how things have changed.
Okay. I mean, if you want to do it again, I'll pick your guys' brains for schedules and stuff like that. We can make this a regular thing if you want. I'm open if you are. So
we'll see how things go, but it's fun.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, John, Chris, keep doing what you're doing, guys. Appreciate it. I'm gonna bounce out of this Discord and let you guys do your thing.
All right,
Have
man.
a good one, man.
All right, guys.
Take it easy.
You too.
Bye.
See ya.